Good afternoon. Welcome to this meeting of the Council for the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich. It is May 22nd, 2024. It's 5 p.m. and I'll call this meeting to order. Clerk Tara, if you would get us started, please.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drillard, that the meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich opens at 5 o'clock p.m. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. I would remind Council of any declaration of pecuniary interest. See none. Item 3 is the adoption of the draft minutes from the May 8th meeting. Everyone received them in their package. Are there any changes or errors or omissions? Seeing none, the minutes will be adopted as presented in the agenda. Clerk Tara, is there any items not listed on the agenda?
There are none.
Thank you. We have 2 public meetings, but they are scheduled for 5:30. So we're going to skip over that and we will go to correspondence. And item A, the Municipality of Castleman, the autonomy of conservation authorities in Ontario. Does anyone wish to speak to that correspondence?
Didn't understand it was in French.
Oh, yeah, scroll down.
Scroll down.
Oh. Okay. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Drillard, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich supports the resolution from the Municipality of Castleman supporting the call to uphold the principles of scientific integrity, local expertise, and community input in conservation efforts, of advocating for the autonomy of conservation authorities to protect the environment from decisions that favor development at the expense of environmental integrity, and that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Rob Flack, MPP, Karen Vecchio, MP, and the Municipality of Castleman. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. You have another one?
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Drillard, that relevant correspondence was reviewed. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, our consent agenda has 4 items. The first one is Watson and Associates Economists Limited submission regarding Bill 185 ERO 019-8369, the Municipal Act and Planning Act. Does anyone wish to speak to that correspondence? Go ahead, Councilor.
I'm just gonna mention that, like reading the document, they're very thorough in their explanations and deciphering, what needs to change and wording and so on. So I commend Watson and Associates for doing this and being an advocate for municipalities. In particular, there was one comment in there, and I think we felt it, but the mandated population growth and when it relates to the official plans, that there's an imbalance between growth presented to us by the province of Ontario, and it's creating financial risk to municipalities. And I think we have felt some of this, and I think we really need to stand behind documents like this. And I don't know how we can do it, but it does put undue risk on municipalities, and it puts us in a position where financially we're unstable, and it can happen really fast. And just look at our infrastructure costs for growth. But I mean, we need the growth as well, but there can be too much growth that we can't handle growth. And so I think that's what they're trying to say here, is we have to really be careful with the balancing act of the whole situation. So
Thank you for them comments. And I agree. It's worded where even I can understand where they're coming from, because you read some of these government documents and at the end of it, you go over it 3 times, you still can't figure it out. So they're making common sense out of it. So I thank them for that information. Anything further on that one? Number 2 is the Western Ontario Wardens Caucus, ERO submissions. Anyone wish to speak to that one? I'm giving everyone extra time because we're going to have some dead air here. Okay. Number 3, Watson and Associates Affordable Housing Bulletin Release. Another well-written document that trying to explains it. So does anybody wish to address that correspondence? Please. Okay. And number 4 is the Dutton Dunwich Economic Development Committee newsletter. And this is a very, very nicely done documents. Go ahead, Councillor Drive.
Just, if, you know, I'll put it out to council. We do this every 2 weeks. If you would like something to be promoted, or in particular that's related to economic development, a business that really benefits our community, anything that relates to those, if there's a story you want us to tackle that will help the municipality and economic development, just pass it on to me and we'll get to work on it, because that's what this is all about. We do incorporate community events into it, but the main function is promotion and economic development. And hopefully we can broaden this out to outside of our community, which is the ultimate goal of this. And I will say right now that we have 300 subscribers to this, and we have an open rate that's really high, which tells me people are looking for it. So, and it's working out quite well. So I'll just pass that on. So.
Okay, thank you. Anything further from council? Okay. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Drulard, seconded by Dreyfus, that the items on the consent agenda be approved. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, we will go to number 8, the CAO training report, 2023 unfunded capital, municipal drains, and 2024 capital home now. Tracy is somewhere between here and Edmonton. I don't think she's joined us online. So everyone has received the report in your agenda package. Any discussion or questions concerning this report?
Just one comment. So obviously we're debt financing this. So this was all carried through our operating line initially. That's where these numbers came from.
Yes.
Okay. So we're debt financing it over 5 years.
Yes.
Okay.
And as one of the items was the huge municipal drain assessment that we've had to deal with. Anything further from council? If there are any questions, Tracy would be more than happy as soon as she's back to answer them for you. I can't offer much more than that. Go ahead, Councillor Doulard.
I'm just wondering, is the pumper fire, is that coming in the fall, or is it still projected?
The latest news I had this fall.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still on
Perfect.
schedule.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And I think I quizzed the fire chief on that one, so. Anything further? Okay. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Pemberton, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the CAO Treasurer titled 2022-2023 Unfunded Capital, Municipal Drains, and 2024 Capital Loan dated May 22nd, 2024 for information. and that council approve the borrowing for the 2022 in the amount of $85,424.54 and 2023 for $405,040.04 unfunded capital and municipal drains, and fund the 2024 in the amount of $1,021,831.67 approved capital expenditures. And that council authorized the loan from TD Commercial Banking at a 5-year term rate at a fixed rate of 5.424%. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. Number 9, unfinished business. Council or staff? Nothing? Any new business?
Well, just speak, we're trying to fill time here, so I'll speak on behalf of the rec committee. They're on June 22nd, we've had a lot of comments from the community and wondering how they could get involved in community organizations. So the rec committee has taken it upon themselves to do a thing called Discover Dutton Dunwich. So it's from 10 until 2, June 22nd. And so we've invited all the service clubs, any community organization that wants to participate, will all be there. And I think that right now there's like 15 organizations participating in this. So the community can come and attend, and maybe something that they're interested in helping with. So that's essentially the purpose of the event, is to give people an opportunity to participate. So
What was that date again?
June 22nd,
June 22nd?
from 10 until 2.
Rec Center.
And what are you calling the event?
Discover Dutton Dunwich.
Discover. Okay, anything further for council? Any announcements?
Just filling time. Unfortunately, we have a light agenda and scheduled meetings have to be not before the time, so that's why. Anyhow, just saying, I just wanted to update that we are plugging along with the Cenotaph project, and we are, I think, just over the $100,000 mark, so we're plugging away there, and we're still reaching out to community members and organizations and businesses to help us reach our goal of 140,000 so that we can get it finished up. Our goal is to have it for this year's Remembrance Day services.
Is it still up? Excuse me, 140,000 is the goal?
Yeah, actually, the contractor that we're working with has really done a fantastic job because these quotes were old. And so he found us ways to keep the integrity of the project, but keep us still in that budget. So things that actually really made sense, like we were going to put ornamental poppies on it, but because of, he talked to us about like the cost of maintenance on those over time, and where that we might see some damage through time or damage from things that happen in parks. So he suggested that we still use the design, but laser engrave them into the stone, and use the poppy design and laser engrave it. So that was quite a substantial cost saving that helped us stay inside the budget. And we were going to use metal for the helmet and the cross, but that also is being made out of stone, which is over time is gonna save us money, and it did help keep us inside that budget, so we're quite pleased with that.
And the plan is to pour concrete this summer?
After Canada Day, that's the plan, to get the site ready and get started. Like, I feel that we can really get the push on, and we do have another ask coming, and we haven't been updated on one ask yet. Yeah, and they're bigger, so I don't know whether I can say where those two or not. We have one for Green Lane Trust. We haven't, we're going to go in front of them and present. And we're waiting on Salis. So those are usually really good supporters of, especially a project like this that not only benefits our community, but neighboring communities as well. So our hope is that they'll maybe get us really close to the end. And we've had some really excellent community support, like small and large community support. So I appreciated that the staff made sure that it went out on socials. Some of the supporters, that was really nice to see.
Okay, look forward to it. Any other announcements? Been a quiet 2 weeks. Okay, I think this is where we're stuck. We can't go any further until we deal with the public meetings. And they're 14 minutes away from my clock. So council could take a break. I know you don't need one yet, but okay, let's go with 12A. It's 2024-2025 temporary borrowing bylaw. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Loveland, that bylaw 2024-25, being a bylaw to authorize temporary borrowing to meet the current expenditures of the municipality for the year ending December 31st, 2024, be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, that took another minute.
Mayor Hanson, you've been the longest on council. Has this ever happened to you before? No.
Maybe this is a picture about doing a really good job.
Sure, I'll go with that. Are you starting to get some nominations in for volunteer? Excellent, yeah.
We're gonna do a little more promotion this in the next 2 weeks, like heavy promotions.
Yeah, I think that if you kind of promote toward the service clubs, they'll also come up with people who volunteer for them that aren't actual members.
Pretty much where it needs to come from.
Yeah.
They were just at a meeting yesterday.
I have ideas, but I can't really make a nomination. I think I shared one of the ideas with you. I'm hoping somebody will pick it up. Change is difficult for people too. We've always done it this way.
Yes.
It's really difficult when as time has gone on, the support we still call it the Shannon Lundy, so it gets divided into children's mental health and,
Oh, okay.
yeah. That's where the family wished it to go, so, yeah.
How many participants?
I believe Shirley told me it's a full slate. I think we have 150. It's a big tournament, so it's a lot of fun. Are you golfing?
On that one, last one I did was this small tournament.
Uh,
I think they probably sell more beer than.
mm. That could happen at this one too. I was on a team a women's team that won last year, and I'm telling you, we're not good. I should have retired though. It was the best game I've ever played. I actually had a former teammate tell me, you played with me for I don't know how many years that I ever saw any of that. Truth.
Where does it all tournament?
First one is the Committee of Adjustment, MV 02/24. And I will call this Committee of Adjustment hearing to order. Secretary, please.
Moved by Drulard, seconded by Loveland, that the regular meeting end to sit as a committee of adjustment hearing to hear application file MV 02/24 filed by Chris Emery at 5:30 PM. All in favor? And that's carried. And moved by Drulard, seconded by Dreyfus, that the meeting of the Committee of Adjustment for Minor Variance Application File MV 02/24 filed by Chris Emery on behalf of Cindy and Darcy Nguyen opens at 5:30 PM. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay. Thank you. The first item we have to deal with is adopt the previous meeting minutes for March 27th, 2024. They were included in the agenda package the council received. Is there any changes or errors or omissions? Seeing none, they will be adopted as presented to council. Okay, this application is for a minor variance pursuant to section 45(1) of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 as amended, is required for the following reasons. To request relief from section 4.53V to increase the maximum size of the ARU from the required 40% to 91.42% of the gross floor area of the primary dwelling unit in an urban area, and relief from section 4.2G to increase the maximum height of an accessory structure from the required 6 meters to 6.53 meters. Does any member of council have a disclosure of interest concerning the proposals? I see none. Clerk Tara, what method of notice and when was the notice given to the public for this meeting?
A sign was posted on the subject property prior to the May 11th, 2024 deadline, and notices were mailed to property owners within 60 meters of the subject property prior to the May 8th deadline.
Okay, thank you. I will now introduce our planner, Tracy, for your report, and she's joining us online.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. So the minor variance application was submitted by the applicant on behalf of the owners. The property currently has a single detached dwelling, and there is residential uses in the surrounding area. It's proposed to construct a new 2-story accessory structure or a detached garage, which includes a additional residential unit, or ARU for short. So the purpose of the request is to increase the maximum size of the ARU that's set out in our bylaw, and to increase the maximum height of an accessory structure. Because it's detached proposed ARU, it's still treated as an accessory structure under the zoning bylaw. So the application was circulated to agencies and neighbors. There was one question from the building department whether the county would allow the additional driveway access off of Curry, and the county of Elgin did respond through the circulation saying that the county had no concerns and a road occupancy permit would be required in order to construct that entrance. So under the minor variances, the committee needs to follow the 4 tests and has to check off all 4 tests in order to be considered minor. The first one is that it complies with the intent of the official plan, which in my opinion it does. And the second is that the application complies with the intent and general purpose of the zoning bylaw, which I believe it does. The third one is that is a variance considered desirable and appropriate for orderly development in the area. So in my opinion, the proposed relief does not cause any concerns with any privacy of the abutting property owners. The property is large enough to accommodate for an accessory structure. They can have a septic system for the accessory structure as well, and all other zone regulations will be complied with. And the fourth and final test is it's minor in nature. And it's more of just an impact as opposed to a number. It is a significant increase. with respect to the percentage. But as you're aware, council is currently working on a housekeeping amendment, which will most likely smooth out some of the percentages of gross floor area. We'll be looking at more percentages of lot coverage as opposed to the equivalence to lot coverage. And then the Planning Act keeps changing as well. So there's a lot of moving parts that we anticipate that with a housekeeping amendment, we will make this a little bit easier for the building department to enforce and for people to be able to accommodate, because it seems to have some interest in the area, both in the rural and in the urban area. So the characteristic of the area will remain the same. So the proposed relief is considered minor. So administration is in the opinion that the application does satisfy the 4 tests and does constitute good land use planning, and we recommend that the minor variance application be approved by the Committee of Adjustment. So I'm happy to answer any questions at the appropriate time.
Thank you for your report, Tracy. Are the owners present? Okay. And I don't know you folks, so
Chris Emery, this is our under son-in-law.
nice to meet you. Do you have anything you would like to add at this time?
Just a comment on- Started up.
I saw it go in. Okay. Do the committee members have any questions on the planning report? See none? Does the secretary treasurer have any comments from staff?
Yes, and they're summarized in the planner's report.
Okay. Does the secretary treasurer have any written submissions on this application?
Yes, and they're summarized in the planner's report.
Are there any persons present who were notified of this meeting and would like to comment on the application? Nobody virtually? Okay. We make the decision. Yep. So consideration of the decision of the committee.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Loveland, that the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the planner entitled Application for Minor Variance MV 02/24 9744 Curry Road, Chris Emery, applicant, on behalf of Cindy and Darcy Wynn, owners, dated May 22nd, 2024, for information, and that the Committee of Adjustment for the municipality of Dutton Dunwich approves minor variance application MV 02/24 for property located at 9744 Curry Road in accordance with site-specific decision sheet attached to the minutes of this meeting. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. Please be advised that the last day for appealing this decision is June 11th, 2024. If you wish to be notified of the decision of the committee in respect to this application, you must submit a written request to the municipality of Dutton Dunwich Committee of Adjustment. If you are not the applicant, you should request a copy of the decision, since it may be appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal by the applicant or another member of the public. Okay. This Committee of Adjustment meeting is now concluded. Tara, please.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Pemberton, that the meeting of the Committee of Adjustment to hear minor variance application file MV 02/24 filed by Chris Emery on behalf of Cindy and Darcy Wynn closes at 5:39 PM. All in favor? And that's carried. Moved by Loveland, seconded by Dreyfus, that the regular meeting reconvenes at 5:39 PM. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Well, we have another public meeting. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Drulard, that the public meeting for zoning bylaw amendment application ZBA 04/24 filed by Curtis Hathaway for property located at 28286 Duff Line opens at 5:40 PM. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, thank you. So,
Yeah.
this is a public meeting as required by Section 34 of the Planning Act to afford any person an opportunity to make representation with respect to a proposed zoning bylaw amendment to rezone the subject property from agricultural A1 zone to rural residential RR zone and defined area agricultural A1-15 zone. The subject property is locally known as 28286 Duff Line in the municipality of Dutton Dunwich. Does any member of council have a disclosure of interest concerning the proposals? See none. Clerk Tara, what method of notice and when was the notice given to the public for this meeting?
The sign was posted on the subject property by the May 3rd, 2024 deadline, and notices were mailed to property owners within 120 meters of the subject property on May 1st, 2024.
Thank you. I will now ask our planner Tracy to give her a report.
Thank you very much. So this report before you this evening is a zoning bylaw amendment application submitted by the applicant agent on behalf of the owner. It was a condition of land division E3923, and there were no appeals received on that application for lot line adjustment. The purpose of this application is one of the conditions of that land division approval. It's a boundary adjustment, so there are no new lots being proposed or created. And as a condition, both the severed and the retained parcels require rezoning. The assessment for the land division application was done previously. This was circulated 120 meters in diameter from the property. The only concerns that were received, I wanted to draw to your attention, was a letter from the Elgin Federation of Agriculture. I can respond to it in more detail at the appropriate time if the council would like. With respect to the proposal before you, so the severed parcel will be rezoned to a rural residential. So that's the part that's coming off the farm and being added to the abutting land, and that would match the same zoning as that abutting land. Now the retained parcel, it was already an undersized farm. So it's just being reduced into a smaller portion by the amount that's being severed. But the zoning bylaw gives us an opportunity to acknowledge that in a site-specific defined area. So we're giving it a new A1-15 zone. So in the A1, you are required a minimum of 20 hectares, and they will only have 7.2 hectares remaining after the severance is complete. And that will now become set out in a zoning bylaw as its permitted use. And there is already a house on that parcel of land. So administration recommends that the zoning bylaw be approved, and I'll be happy to answer any questions at the appropriate time.
Okay, thank you for that report, Tracy. Clerk Tara, have you received any comments from staff?
Yes, and they're summarized in the planner's report.
Did you receive any written submissions on this application?
Yes, and they're summarized in the planner's report.
Before I open the floor to questions from the public, please be advised that any person from the public wishes to receive further information on the action of council regarding the passing of a bylaw on the proposed amendment, please ensure that they leave their name, address, and postal code with the clerk prior to leaving the meeting. There are no public joining us, I don't think. Do council members or any member of the public have any further questions? Just a comment on the OFA letter, Tracy, if you would, please.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. So the areas of concern that the letter had brought up is the first is the minimum farm size. Again, this minimum requirement in the A1 zone is 20 hectares, but it was already an undersized farm size to start. So we're just reducing it a little bit more. The second issue was, as they mentioned that the policies about surplus dwelling lots. No new lot is being proposed, so that surplus lot requirement does not apply. They also mentioned the third point about additional residential dwelling units. So this isn't an ADU. There are no intentions of building a second dwelling, and there's already a residence on the retained piece and on the suburb piece. So no new residence or residential lot is being proposed. The proposed solution that they mentioned was putting a notice on title. So that trigger to be able to put a notice on title should have occurred during the land division application, because the severance would have been an opportunity under the Planning Act to impose conditions such as registering on title. The zoning bylaw, we can't put conditions on it. We don't have any opportunities for anything that could be registered on title. And it was more of a warning clause. So that isn't something that the zoning bylaw amendment can address. And then finally, they had suggested about the retained piece, which is the farm, be placed in an A2 zones to prohibit any new residential dwellings. The previous severance that's in an RR must have occurred prior to the provincial policy statements requiring that, and that's why it's still in an A1. But there is already a house there, and that A2 provision would not be necessary for this existing situation, because there is already a house. And the purpose of the A2 is to prohibit any new residential lots or residential dwellings on a lot. So those are the concerns in a sort of a high level summary and some of my responses.
Thank you for that, Tracy. Anything from council? Councilor Dreyfus.
Just one question, and I'm not opposed to it, but I just, as they mentioned in the Elgin Farmers Federation comments, that they were wondering how this, the lot was severed originally. So how long ago would that have happened? And just out of curiosity, or did we not have an official plan at the time, or was the provincial policy statement different, or how did this happen to start with? Because it is an odd situation.
Do you have the history on that, Tracy?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, I don't have the history on that, because we are just focused on zoning the land. And that would have been probably a question for the land division at the time when they approved the lot line adjustment.
Okay, Mayor Loveland, I expect you were around at the time.
I don't think so. I think it was actually even before my time, maybe, but it's been quite a while ago. So I don't think we had a zoning bylaw in place or official plan in place when that was done. I think our first official plan came in 79 and our zoning in 80. So again, don't hold me exactly to those years because it's memory. So.
And the A2s, just further to add that, I think the A2s, that technique was a requirement of the 2014 PPS. So that wouldn't have been a requirement to put a freeze on the retained piece until prior to that.
Okay, thank you. Anything further from council? The owners here, any comments? No? Okay. If there are no further questions, please be advised that any person wishing further information on the actions of council regarding the passing of a bylaw on the proposed amendment should leave their name, address, and postal code with the clerk prior to leaving the meeting. If you are not the applicant, you should request a copy of the decision, since it may be appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal by the applicant or another member of the public. The last day to appeal is June 12th, 2024. Clerk Tara.
Moved by Drouillard, seconded by Pemberton, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the planner titled Application for Zoning Bylaw Amendment ZBA 04/24 28286 Duff Line, Municipality of Dutton Dunwich, Curtis Hathaway, applicant agent on behalf of Nicole Dowie, property owner, dated May 22nd, 2024 for information, and that Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich approves zoning bylaw amendment ZBA 04/24 for property located at 28286 Duff Line from agricultural A1 zone to rural residential RR zone and defined area agricultural A1-15 zone in accordance with the site-specific bylaw. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Loveland, that the public meeting for zoning bylaw amendment application ZBA 04/24 filed by Curtis Hathaway for property located at 28286 Duff Line closes at 5:50 PM. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good to go. Okay, we're down to our closed session.
Do you want to do the Hathaway bylaw first?
Okay. If it doesn't.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Dreyfus, that bylaw 2024-26 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2022-50 for property municipally known as 28286 Duff Line be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay. You get us set for closed, Karen?
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Drulard, that the council for the municipality of Dutton Dunwich now moves into a session of the meeting that shall be closed to the public at 5:51 PM in accordance with section 2392 of the Municipal Act SO 2001, chapter 25, for discussion of the following matters. A, labor relations or employee negotiations, section 2392D of the Municipal Act for the building department. B, labor relations or employee negotiations, section 2392D of the Municipal Act for the Water Department. C, labor relations or employee negotiations, section 2392D of the Municipal Act for the Medical Center. All in favor? And that's carried.
Take a couple minute break while we lock things down. Okay, just making sure I didn't miss anything, but I think we're down to confirmed proceedings. Clerk Kara, please.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Pemberton, that bylaw 2024-27 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the municipal council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, see the date for the future meetings, and I guess we're short-staffed the next one. Can't imagine going fishing and missing a council meeting, but that's just me.
Start imagining.
And the adjournment.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drulard, that the meeting of the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich closes at 7:15 PM. All in favor? And that's carried.
Busy Furman last night, didn't want to come to Frank County.
I was.